Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and we're back with another episode of the Road to Finals series, and we're up to almost the end, with this being episode 6. So one more episode after this, and then we'll be at finals. So they want to go over different topics, and we've already covered 5 different ones now. For this one, topic well, not discover, but discuss, is do you know about proper duel etiquette? Now you might be wondering what the fuck is etiquette? Like, people might not know the word, but it's basically, do you know like how to play properly and be respectful, essentially, like playing reasonably and gentlemanly-ish kind of thing. And this is something not a lot of people do. Like, you get people who are just like very salty when they lose a game and not good for them, and people that just like act really bad when it comes to playing, like just being proper like dickish. There's always examples of, like, people just like stalling and stuff like that, and just taking too much time, or just getting annoyed by certain plays, or just being really weird. And even people like after you've played the game, just being salty, like not even offering a handshake or saying good game or anything like that, and just pack it up, just leaving straight away because they lost. And one thing everybody really should do is just basically learn to be like respectful and be like just play properly and just be respectful even during or after the game as well. So I just want to go over like 4 different things you can do to help basically be like with proper duel etiquette and just be respectful and just play properly and not be a dick during the game. Like, main thing to think of it as is like sportsman's like conduct. Just be respectful and just be decent through in the game and outside the game. But before we do get into this topic, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Just helps the channel greatly. And along with like comments, be like just basically getting through questions you have if you don't understand the topic of the video, or if there's any question you have about it, or even liking the video, let me know you're enjoying this series. And also, like, subscribing helps the video out, because we're trying to get to 1,000 subs before the end of the year, and we're getting up there now. And also, by clicking notification bell, you get alerts to when my videos do drop as well, so you know when to go and watch them, or that they're already there for you to watch at a later time. So without the way, let's go over and discuss the 4 different things I thought to put in about proper dueling etiquette. So first thing is check with your opponent if they have a response to your play. Like, I've seen this a fair few times when people like playing, that people just try to play really fast and just rush out, and almost like they're trying to rush out to avoid your opponent being able to do anything to counter it. But you should be making sure that if with any play you're checking if your opponent has a response, because even though they might not have energy open to respond with by playing anything, not everything needs energy. Some things can be played free given certain conditions. So anytime you're playing something, like, it might seem a bit like shitty if you're doing it when they've got like, say, like 1 life and they've got no energy open, they've got nothing on board or anything like that, like we play. But it's always best to check, because they might have potentially like a counter or something to respond with that you might not have considered. So anytime you do make a play, check with your check if you got a response, if your opponent has a response, because even then it even could come to a point where you're trying to do like a play and you can't do it, and your opponent realizes, and they basically just like the response could be just letting you know you can't actually perform that action, so you can basically take it back because you can't actually do it, and then basically set the stuff up to actually try and do it, or like continue on a different path. So always make sure, if you got any play, check with your opponent, because clear communication is one good thing to make sure there's no issues, because that's where a fair few issues I've seen come about as well, where people don't check, and then it comes to a whole rule dispute where the judge is called, and then it's because the one player tried to rush out and didn't check if your opponent had anything to respond with. So always make sure you're doing that. Second one is don't be a rule shark. Now, we've seen this before, and some people do like to be rule shark, like to go onto it. People like to be like technically blah blah blah. Just don't be a rule shark. Don't, because all that is being like a dickish about things. You know what is tended to be done, and like certain like just rule sharking just is just what most people do when they're about to lose or in a bad position. They usually go, technically you didn't do this, because they don't want to lose and they have to get that desperate for it to rule shark and go, you technically didn't call this, even though they know what the intention was. And even though it's not really, I can't remember if it's really like if it's just frowned upon in the rules or it's just not allowed in the rules. But it's just a really dick way of playing. Just basically makes it a bad day for everyone. So like, don't rule shot. Even if you're gonna lose, just take it like a man. Let's just take it like a boss. just take the loss, knowing what the intention is going to be. Do rule sharks. And the main example was like when people used to like rule shark on Kai, where on there it says up to, so you have to actually say, right, I'm going to give double strike to this. I'm going to give double strike to this card to declare it's actually got double strike. Whereas with like Champa, it just automatically gives a double strike, and people used to use Kai because because there's situations where you might not want to give double strike, and also which really never came up that I ever saw. And also because it's a cheaper cost, and it could actually be played cheaper if they need to actually play it as an attacker. But then it comes to the point where a opponent would just like use Champa with the intent, with like, well, use Kai with the intention to just give the attack double strike because they're going all in someone who's got 2 life, and then the opponent would say, oh, you technically didn't call double strike on that card. You didn't actually say you give him double strike, therefore it's just a single strike to get the one hit, and that's just really dickish to do that when you know the intention of it. Especially at the end of any go when they say double strike, but you didn't technically give it. Just don't be like that. Don't like be that kind of person to try and get out of like a losing by calling like on the whole the rule shark route. Not calling out anybody out specifically, but I've like there's been a lot of examples of people doing this, and it's just yeah, not a great thing to do. Just be polite and don't be a dick, essentially. And then we go on to the third one, being speak clearly regarding what you're trying or attempting to do. Like always be clear. Like it might be a little bit harder in the EU because of the fact that we've got different languages. Not everybody speaks English because everybody has different regions, and not every region is English as first language, and one thing you've got to respect. But what you can do is make sure you're speaking clearly regarding what you're trying to do, even if you're using like pointing the things that basically indicate what you're trying to do. Just make it clear and like whatever way is best and possible to make it clear what you're trying to do, so that way there's no miscommunication to get so nothing gets confused by what is actually trying to do, what you're trying to do, or what you're trying to achieve at the end of any interaction. So make sure you're speaking clearly, even if you have to basically just point out, say I'm pointing at your leader, say I'm attacking my leader, to a leader and putting out theirs. Just make sure you're being clear, because that way you can avoid any kind of mishaps or misinterpretations by being clear. And this is going to, once again, this is going to be a really quick episode because it's just going over just probably like a good actual topic, but very easy to like quickly go through it and just basically discuss it about what really needs to be done. And the last one is play at a reasonable pace so you don't waste both yours and your opponent's time. Now, this makes sense because like I don't know if it's I've seen it seems to be something more in NA, but I'm not sure it's like much done in the EU. But make sure you play at a decent pace. Like a lot of the time I've like encountered and actually been on the receiving end of like people just constantly asking questions about what this card does about the same card, or a card that like they should like they can just they should know, and people just sometimes like take ages to respond because they're trying to stall out, or just like being too indecisive about what to do. Like just like play at a reasonable pace. Don't try to take too long. Don't try to like force in time, because I think you get like some of the people that just wanted like they don't want to. They're trying not to lose, so they play a bit slower. But all they're trying to do then is try not to lose by playing slower, but they're not even trying to win then. They're just trying to not lose, which is not a good thing to do. Ideally, if you're like when you're trying to play, you want to try to win and not just not play not lose. Because at least by trying to win, you've got a goal to try and win the game, and you're trying to actually achieve victory. But trying to not to lose, you're not really like you just using any way to not lose the game, but not really any. But then you're not always taking that route of not trying to lose the game towards trying to win the game. You're just trying not to lose, and that can end up just basically taking a lot longer. Get into time where then you have to. It comes down to time rules, and you potentially just get shafted on that because you've taken too long, or your opponent gets shafted because you've just been too decisive, taking the piss a bit. Uh, and I find this more with like, well, I do. It might be personal, but I find it more with like people playing blue. They're just trying to defend, and it's just basically not a good thing. Like, make sure you take a decent amount of time. It doesn't take too long to have like if you got a response or not. Think about it. Maybe if you got quite a few cards, you might need a bit of thought. But taking like more than a minute or like 2-3 minutes just to decide if you're going to have a like response to something or what you're going to play is never a bad thing. Is like never a good thing. Sorry, because you're just taking way too long, and it shouldn't take that long to decide if you're going to play anything or if you're going to counter anything. So make sure you play at a reasonable pace so you don't waste anybody's time, even your own time as well. Remember, with this format being best of one Preside, you haven't got much time to play. Uh, decent amount of time I can play a game, but you haven't got too much time to just take like it's like a friendlies where you could take forever to play out a match just to test. You actually got a time frame which the game needs to be done. So that is it, just those four topics. So it isn't a very long one because it's quite a simple thing to go. It's literally to sum this topic up. It's literally just don't be a dick. Like be respectful. Like be respectful in like making sure you're like communicating clearly. Don't shark your opponent just because like trying to get out of losing because of a technicality. That's just really scummy. Make sure you check in with your opponent if they've got a response. Maybe give your opponent enough time to actually say if they want to respond. So you like check with them to make sure there's no miscommunication and play at a decent pace so you're not wasting anybody's time or just basically trying to stall the time and go that route. So that's it for today's video. Hopefully that is a useful one, and I'm not calling out anybody here on this in this video. I'm just basically just saying what I've seen in general and what basically could happen in general, and hopefully this helps out anybody, or even something you can show to someone who you feel does fall in this category, just to basically just say like don't do it. That is it for today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and catch up again tomorrow in the last episode of this Road to Final series. So I'll catch you then, and bye for now.